Interviews with business owners and veteran executives who share their wisdom and expertise to help you de-stress, free up time, and make more money. Profits of IT. Welcome back to the Profits of IT. I'm your host, Jim Punzenberger, and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking for leads and appointments without cold calling, ad spend, or spamming, check out managedprospectingsystem.com. I'm excited to have Justin with me today. Justin, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company, Techrug.
Absolutely, Jim. No, I appreciate you having me. Thanks a lot. So, Techrug, I had gotten involved, it was partner or had two partners in an IT company down in Dallas, Texas. I know some people sometimes will say it's an MSP. It was, and we actually did a lot of app dev and IT staffing type work back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then everything went offshore. And so me and my two other partners kind of didn't want to go that direction. One of them was older, had a kid, and wanted to kind of just hang around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I moved back to Columbus, Ohio, and got involved in insurance back in January 1st of 2004. And, for the first, couple of years, I kind of did the landscape or the bakery, the home and the auto. And I thought, this is just not me. I didn't really enjoy it. Calling up people, can I get your social security number, your date of birth? It was mind-numbingly dull. I found a liking to, doing professional liability risks. So I started working with accountants and architects and engineers and lawyers on their professional liability. And then just sitting at, I was actually with an IT, company that I still insure today that's grown quite a bit, but they were in the Columbus, Ohio area. And we were going over some .NET stuff. And they said, wow, you really understand IT. Is this something you specialize? So that was, call it like, late 07, early 08-ish. And then, I started going through these policies and going, wow, one carrier only covers X and the other carrier is Y. So, these policies, especially at the beginning, it was really the Wild West. And so, just started working around the Columbus area with technology companies, on various policies that I could secure for them. And, then kind of grew going, to around the state of Ohio, and then it went a little bit more regional. And today, we work with just around 1,900 managed service providers across the United States when it comes to cyber liability, errors and omissions insurance needs. We also get into other lines of business like business insurance, workers' comp. We help our MSPs with a lot of risk management and risk transfer techniques. So we've got a full-time risk engineering team that are on board. They've got certified ethical hackers, as well as the director of risk management that's got 40 years of going through contracts and contract law. He's not a lawyer, but works hand in hand with the lawyers on that stuff. So that's a little bit about Techrug, where we are today. We underwrite our own E&O policy right now for a Lloyd's syndicate and then Hartford Insurance. So we've got two programs. MSPs can still go and get quotes. It's just they'll get coverage A and premium A outside of Techrug, and then with our own underwriting model, you get coverage B and premium B. So kind of circle that back. That's a little bit about Techrug and where we are today.
Cool, awesome. And what's something interesting about yourself, Justin, outside of work?
There's probably not too much interesting. I used to be a lot more adventurous, right? Honestly, Jim, I'd love to paint this story, but between 70 hours a week, I've got a son that's in high school. I did volunteer to, coach his middle school rec league team. And then the kids asked me, hey, listen, we want to go into a low level select. And so I got kind of drawn into that. But honestly,
what sport are we talking about here?
Soccer. So if I didn't mention that, but yeah, that kind of took me, and believe it or not, I mean, it's therapeutic. It gets me out of the office, because the way I'm wired, if we're going to do something, we're going to do it right. So, with my business, I could probably stay up here 80 or 90 hours, but it gets me outside. And, the kids now are getting a little bit older, but still enjoyable. But I would say between honestly work, doing that, and then the little free time that I got, I don't really have a lot of hobbies. I'm not a golfer. I'm not a guy that'll go down and tailgate at Ohio State.
So you have your work and your business, and you have your family, and that's pretty much sums up Justin.
It does right now. I'm not saying once he gets out of the house, because we only got one kid, but once he gets out of the house, it might change. But right now, again, I feel like I only got this time, and he's starting to get to the point of being too cool for mom and dad, being a freshman in high school. So but this consumes my life between work and family and any activities that he's in.
So, what would you say has made you successful in business? What one might maybe say that you have any superpowers when it comes to business, or and how can others learn from that and apply that in their lives and businesses?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, honestly, it's gonna seem, probably a pretty basic answer, but you know, are you willing to work and do things that other people aren't willing to do, right? So when everyone else stops at 40 or 45 hours, are you willing to go 7? I think the other thing is that and going through this even with Techrug when we were starting to write some of these policies and do some of the stuff with the carriers, like, it was tweaking a process, that was already in place. So I definitely wasn't trying to reinvent the mousetrap, so to speak. But honestly, Jim, I started when I was younger. I would say I got into things, especially with the IT company, because I looked at the dollar signs of it. And then when I stopped
Uh-huh.
looking at the dollar signs and actually got something into something where for me it was enjoyable and I didn't mind necessarily coming in on a Saturday morning when my wife and son were sleeping, right? Or on a Sunday evening. And that to me is when, my business, when it became enjoyable and more of a hobby and less of work. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still days where you come in, you're like, oh, geez, I really don't feel like doing it. But I always kind of have a
Yeah.
rule of thumb in mind. If it gets to, 2 or 3 days out of the week that I'm feeling like that, that's probably not a good sign. If it's once a week or once every 2 weeks, then I think I'm in a good place. So for me, I think it really just comes down to, are you willing to, outwork and out hustle the people on the other side? If you are, I mean, I was reading something where 70%, it's like 68% of us have the same IQ, whether it was somewhere between 85 and 115, 100 being the median. But I always would ask myself, why does one person make 50,000 and another person make 500,000? I mean, I
Uh-huh.
think the answer is the $500,000 person just does a little bit more. They go a little bit harder. They go a little bit longer. So, again, it's not the sexiest answer, but I just think hard work, dedication, and loving what you do. Because I even ask my staff, do you love what you do? If they say yes, then let's get to work. But if you can't answer that first question about loving what you do, I'd say you probably want to switch careers.
Uh-huh. Got it. That's really interesting that, basically most people are about as smart as, the average person has an average amount of intelligence. And so, unless you're, uh, I guess suppose, unless you're like a genius and it's uh, a small percentage of people, it's not that you're smarter than anybody else. It's just that you got to work harder than
Yeah, I mean, if you look
other
up
people.
average IQ, you'll see it. I think it's like, I might be a little off. It's 67, 68, somewhere in there, but it's roughly 7 out of 10. So, 30% are going to be a below or above, or I'm sorry, below that or above. But again, I don't think I'm the smartest guy in the room. But, I think that, when it comes down to why have I been successful, I'm willing to put my mind and my body through some things that where other people might tap out.
Got it. So, if you're not doing this, say you started in business, say you're just putting in like, uh, maybe I'm the, I came from the corporate world that was the 9 to 5. I put in the 9 to 5, and that's what I, that's what it was required. So that's what I did, and now I'm in business. And so, how do I adjust to from the 9 to 5 to, I guess, uh the 9 to 9 or something like
The
that
new
that you're
hours,
talking
right?
about here.
Yeah, again, I always think if you love what you do, it shouldn't be work. I mean, again, it's under the veil of work, but if you really enjoy, coming in and doing what you're doing, and there's parts of all of our jobs where, 30, 40% you're just like you gotta do, right? But that 60 or 70% to me should be something that you really enjoy, and sometimes when I get into these policy forms, I know it's gonna sound a little bit dorky, but it might be like somebody reading a book, right? I get, and why they write it this way, why, is the coverage intended to do X or Y the way it's written? So, for me, it becomes kind of like reading a book, and it takes my interest level to I guess a higher level. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, I think that, if you love what you do, the rest of the stuff falls in place and it doesn't become necessarily working 9 to 9. It becomes, your business family, right? That you enjoy being around it from
Uh-huh.
9 to 9.
Got it. So any other tips related to this topic?
I mean, I think, you got to have successful and great people around you. I mean, I've got, staff, I think that, they believe in the vision, they believe in what we're trying to do, and they're willing to, instead of leaving at 5, right? I don't have to ask them. They might leave at 5:45, or they might leave at 5 and then go on and log on it from 8 to 9 o'clock at night, once their kids settle down. So I think that to me is just having a vision, making sure that the team believes in that vision, and that everyone's lock and key and working together. I think that you can't do it alone. I mean, if you're going to have employees, I would say if I had a huge weakness, I don't know if you're going to get to this question, would be letting go of control. Sometimes I have a hard time in wanting to control everything, but once you get to a level where you've got a certain number of employees, it's impossible to control it. So you've got to believe in the foundation that you built and the processes and procedures that are in place.
Got it. So that's been really insightful on how you've been successful. Thank you for sharing. Getting back to Techrug, what would be like your elevator pitch, or what's a quick 30 seconds on why somebody should be doing business with Techrug? If I take it, it'd be the first thing is that you're an MSP, right? That's the and then why should I guess an MSP be doing business with Techrug over their local insurance agent?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I mean, the world we're in and the environment we're in right now, insurance isn't enough, right? So you have to make sure that you're working on risk management and risk transfer techniques. So I would say that Techrug is really a risk management, risk transfer company that also offers insurance. In other words, Microsoft, whatever amount, $2 billion in revenue, they don't carry a $2 billion cyber policy. They might carry $100 million. So what do they do to make sure that $100 million policy is right for their organization? They work on risk management and risk transfer techniques. So I always tell MSPs, if you think the relationship is just about insurance and you're looking for that other relationship, we're going to sorely disappoint you, and it's probably not an MSP that we're looking for. We want an MSP that's focusing on some of the things that we're working on with them when it comes around protections, both internally with their MSP, but also relaying the protections and the standards and holding their clients accountable. Insurance, again, you got to make sure that you got the right insurance. And then when it comes down to contracts, do you have the right contract for your MSP? Are you reviewing vendor contracts? What's in those vendor contracts? Are there obligations in those vendor contracts that you need to share with your clients? That's what Techrug does for the MSPs that we work with.
Cool. Got it. And if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
I guess I'll give my personal email. It's Justin R at Techrug. So we've got an information at Techrug. If you go to our Techrug site, again, information at Techrug.
And then it's techrug.com is the website?
techrug.com.
Techrug.com and info@techrug.com will for any questions or if you want to learn more information about Techrug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, thank you, Justin. And until next time, I'm Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate leads and or appointments without cold calling, ad spend, or spamming, check out managedprospectingsystem.com. And until next time, bye for now.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you for tuning in to the Profits of IT. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share.